geeks and everyone else, welcome to Geek Mythology, a podcast brought to you by my good friend Sow.
And Sugi here. I've seen this so many times. Seth here, also known as Sugi on YouTube.
Hello,
Yeah,
and welcome.
I've done that so much where
Yeah.
I've said Sugi instead of Seth first.
Yeah.
First of all, actually, I don't know if I should mention this first because it's going to be like near the end of the episode.
You should go and mention
Yeah.
it.
I was going to say, we'll get to the actual question, but like seeing what in the notes, the question you put for the question of the day, I realized, you're really targeting me, aren't you? I don't know if you're targeting me. I'm just saying,
Oh, okay.
Like,
assuming we have time to do question of the day.
I do want to actually discuss that.
I do,
so
yes, because I've deliberately not planned as much because for the past few episodes we've just been overrunning loads of times and not doing the traditional segments that we used to do. So hopefully we'll get that done, and I shall announce. I've already announced this, but just to remind you that this is the penultimate episode of Geek Mythology. Yeah, it is quite sad, but we can't keep doing this forever, and my laptop can't keep doing this forever.
Oh yeah,
I don't think it's gonna survive.
Last episode, you might remember last episode we talked about how Seth's laptop is not great.
It's dying.
But now
it's dying.
It's reaching its last stages. Or it's in its last stage.
I don't know if it can survive two more recordings / editings.
Look, I don't know if it's last legs.
Yeah, I've seen its performance deteriorate over the course of this series. Like, before we could record a whole episode and then it would start glitching at the end, but now it's glitching as soon as I open it.
And so Seth has decided he needs a fan at all times, and I'm like, Seth, you have the fan. You have the fan.
I can't literally. We tried to record this episode 2 hours ago, but my computer didn't want to open. It was a black screen. I fixed it somehow, and then I forgot to charge it, so it shut down. So we chatted for about 15 minutes. Yeah, you started talking about merch.
I started reliving my childhood.
Yeah, whilst we were talking, I tried to reopen the laptop, and then it decided to update, and Windows updates are so annoying. They do it like every week. It finally updates, and then I finally open. It was
literally a month ago, and we've got another one.
It's a bit too much.
Okay. While we talk about recording issues, I might as well mention funny story. So as of recording yesterday, we decided to go outside.
Imagine going outside.
Shut up, Seth.
Yeah, I mean,
but we went outside. I decided to go without any sort of bag, so I just went with my hoodie and my tracksuit. Then I always do this. I realized things might get. Not that we fight. Things don't get rough as in we fight. It's just like stuff might happen. So I asked Seth if I could put my wireless headphones into his bag
for safekeeping.
And yeah, they are safe with Seth, to be fair. But he left very early. I was at the park yesterday for 6 hours.
Jeez.
I realized. As in that minus travel time, I was there for 6 hours.
Yeah.
So Seth left after like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And we both forgot. So my headphones are currently in his house.
That is the problem. They're safe, but they're not with the right person. Yes.
So I'm kind of here. I'm kind of trying to. If anything sounds off from me, or you can hear anything, I think Discord's suppression system is good enough.
Yeah, I can't hear myself.
Yeah. So I'm basically recording without headphones, but it's basically the same. I've done it before. Well, not recorded, but talked. Talked isn't verb, right?
Chatted.
Yeah.
Anyway, should I move on to the joke before we move on? I'll say the joke.
You just don't even have the joke on here.
I remember the joke off by heart. So here it goes. Oh gosh, I've forgotten it. I don't remember the exact wording. Everyone. I don't exactly know the wording. I know the punchline.
we stole this bit from a podcast a year ago. I don't think it matters anymore.
Right. I need to find the exact like build up. I know the punchline. There we go. Here it is.
Nice. I genuinely thought he was about to make an egg pun after saying he forgot it.
What do you call a fake Italian food?
Oh, I see the theme here. I don't know.
An impasta.
Oh, wait, no, I do know.
Yeah.
As soon as I said I don't know, I realized, wait, no, this is a classic. I do know.
An impasta. That segues nicely into the movie Luca.
All right, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
It's not in our notes, so I did forget about it.
Just a funny little story on Instagram.
Is Luca Italian?
Luca's Italian, yeah.
I assumed it was like South American Spanish or something. I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, it reminds me of this funny thing that Disney posted on their socials. It was a screenshot of something, of a scene, and it was like when Luca is sus, and then the punchline was like impasta or something. It was an Amogus joke, basically, involving impasta. And I think I face palmed. I was like, wow.
Do you know what I love about this? What you just said, right?
Yeah.
You didn't even say the name of the actual game.
No.
No. You just said Amogus instead of Among Us, like, because Amogus is the meme name.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So how I see it, right, is I respect Among Us.
Okay.
I do not respect Amogus.
So I've lost your respect.
No. Amogus the meme has lost respect.
Right. Yeah.
Purely because we have one friend who can't get it out of their mind, right? You know who you are if you're listening to this. I'm not going to name you. Especially if I don't name you.
One person sees a window and goes, "Oh, look, that's a bit sus."
Okay, no. The thing is, not only will the person know who they are, but our other friends will also know who you are. So, you know who you are. Anyway, Among Us as a game, I quite like it. Anyway, back to Luca.
Yeah, I think it's my favorite. My favorite animated movie in the past few recent years. Maybe Coco is better. But Coco was actually.
Would you say like in the past 5 years? Like in the past 5 years? Maybe?
Yeah, it's one of the better top 5 movies for me in the past 5 years. There are obviously like really good Pixar ones back in the day, such as like WALL-E and Up. They were really good, but as of recently, like Luca is a really nice movie.
Yeah, I have not seen it yet. Just gonna say, I have not found the optimal time to watch it yet.
Yeah,
there's been other stuff. Like when I've been wanting to use the TV, there's always been other stuff that I have to keep up with, like Loki. So I don't get like majorly spoiled or anything.
Yeah.
So I've been watching stuff I'm keeping up with.
You're prioritizing certain things. But yeah, Luca is a really nice movie.
Slightly off topic. I have realized because I've been watching like. Oh, okay. You want to carry on?
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say is I realized. Actually, let's finish talking about Luca. Just you know, there's no. I don't know about it. But
so Luca's just a really nice movie. Like it's not a complicated plot. It's not that deep. It's just nice. It's just you watch it because it's nice. You don't watch it because you expect your very deep Pixar themes. Like Soul was a bit too deep for me. I didn't really get it sometimes.
Oh yeah. Like
I kind
Soul
of
was a
fell asleep. It like people really rated it highly. It's like the most highly rated Pixar movie or something like that. But personally, I just didn't really enjoy it. It was good.
Can I say like a reason for for like why you might have not liked it, but like it was really highly rated, right?
Yeah.
It's because older Pixar fans, right, would have they would have appreciated Soul a lot, right? And along with just average people, we all know critics don't look at films the same as the
Last Jedi.
audience does.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because for example, Last Jedi, they thought of like the cinematography and such instead of the plot itself.
Yeah.
But another thing they might have looked at, this is purely just going off the top of my head, is they might have seen the themes of Soul as being very impactful, hence why it was highly rated.
Yes,
I guess
the themes were deep.
For you specifically, it just didn't. What's the phrase? It didn't itch the right scratch.
It just didn't hit me.
It didn't
resonate. It didn't. I didn't relate. Because I'm not going through like a midlife crisis, struggling to find a purpose in life. Like, I think I've got a purpose in life, I hope, and I'm pretty motivated.
I was gonna say, I was gonna go like, speak for yourself. I'm kidding.
I mean, yeah.
So is Luca just like? Do you think there's any other sort of Pixar film where it's comparable of like just light-hearted fun?
No, I think pretty much all Pixar movies sort of have. If the plot's not deep, there's pretty deep characters, you know. Pixar just doesn't really. It's just nice. It's just nice. That's all I can say.
I feel like, going off the top of my head, right? Just think about Pixar film. I think the next less deep Pixar film, right?
It's Turning Red.
No, I'm talking about as in like in the anchoring in deepness.
Oh right, okay.
Not the next Pixar film.
Yeah.
But the next down from not deepness, right?
Yeah.
So not ranking this from least to deepness, right?
Okay.
I'd say when I think about it, I feel like Brave wasn't that deep.
I don't really remember Brave. I've only seen it once many years ago.
Brave was about like a teenager like rebelling, then facing the consequences, right?
Yeah.
So that's not too deep, but also, was Bug's Life that deep? I feel like was Bug's Life a commentary on colonialism or something? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, okay, with Luca, you can, if you nitpick it hard enough and delve really deep, no pun intended, yes, there are themes and like messages that they're trying to get out, like to do with like LGBT and that, but you have to look really deep, and it's a really nice metaphor. But yeah, the plot itself is there's no like betrayals, or we just watched Toy Story 3, or no, Toy Story 2 in school. No, Toy Story 3 in school.
We basically, somebody in school during our extra class, which we took as like watching film clips, about them. Like this, one of our fellow classmates showed betrayals.
Yeah. There's really
Disney
none
is
of
loving,
that.
Apparently, Disney loves twist stuff. Apparently.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, Luca isn't really like that.
Luca's just sort of a kid and have his good summer.
Yes.
I think. I'm assuming.
But yeah, it's a really nice movie, and I just quickly wanted to mention it. I didn't expect to have a full-on conversation.
Okay.
But yeah, it was nice. 10 out of 10. There we go.
I think I wanted to quickly mention like one thing and another thing, but I think I can only remember the other thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the first thing. But what do you think of like just like a brief like 5-minute thing? Sure. What do you think of like comfort media, I suppose?
Just okay.
Like, whether it be comfort streamers or like comfort movies or like kinning or something like you really super. Because like for me, I don't know. Of course, I don't know why people do it, but I don't think it's a bad thing either. If that's the way you cope with stuff, by relating to these characters or like
to cope with things.
I'm just assuming comfort stuff is like a way for people to cope, or like comfort streamer is like somebody who just makes you happy no matter what when you watch them, sort of, I suppose.
So would you say drinking is like a more intent, like an example of what someone might do? So like in terms of comfort viewing something, it's basically what they do to escape like real life problems, right? Is that what you mean? Like some people might drink, but some people might watch. Something.
Okay, I'm trying to tread lightly here.
Okay,
really.
I think I have that. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay,
I definitely watch Minecraft videos whenever I don't feel so good. So like I do have that. I think
treading lightly, because I don't want to like.
Yeah.
Because obviously I'm not well informed or anything. I have like a friend or two who does that. Not taking it to the extreme of saying like somebody like really needs this to emotionally cope, right? But like different people go through different things, and like she said, there's different ways of coping, like whether it be alcohol or Minecraft.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like I think it's a nice idea. I'm not like putting it down. I think because I think it is
definitely
a nice idea
do that.
Like I don't know if I admire. I think maybe it's the fact that I might be jealous of people who can find such emotional attachment to these things, right?
I don't know. Personally, whenever I like don't feel like so good, sometimes I'd have some negative emotions. When I watch things, it's not really like an emotional connection, it's more of an escape. Like, it's just the way to forget, right? So if I watch like this Minecraft SMP, Hermitcraft, it's not really... Sometimes I watch it when I'm not feeling so good, and it's not really the emotional connection to characters, for example. It's more like I need to distract myself for a few minutes, for an hour or so. Like, I guess maybe that's a factor. I mean, Luca might be one of those movies that you might want to watch.
I think a lot of
it's
people
not deep.
Luca,
it's just
they find it like
it's just
really
like
just
yeah.
Right?
I think with Luca, it's an escape, I guess. But yeah, you can form attachments to characters if that's how you cope. But personally, I've not like attached myself to characters emotionally. It's more like I need a distraction and I can escape into this fictional like world.
Yeah, I say I haven't. I'm sort of jealous of people. I think it's because they've find emotional attachments like much stronger than I have. But I have one time cried when a series ended, only for that series to get a sequel series, which is okay. But like when I finished reading the fairy tale manga, I bawled my eyes out. I was like, "Oh God, it's ended! Oh my God, it's over!"
You know what? Why? I think a funny story. I think my eyes watered a bit when Olaf died in quotation marks, and Anna was singing her sad song in Frozen 2. I think waterworks.
But so I think it's just like, I don't know if admire is the right word, because I don't know, you don't know what people are going through, but I think it's sort of nice to have like comfort stuff, right?
Yeah.
They can find such happiness within these things if they can't anywhere else. I think maybe it's something we can like, well, not in the podcast, obviously, because it's the penultimate officer, but something we can talk about more when we're more informed, whether it be on video or by ourselves.
Yes, like I don't think we're the right people to be able to give advice. I think the only advice I could give is maybe try and find someone to talk to. I think talking is quite an important thing.
Of course, not everybody actually has a problem and they find comfort, like killing. But I think if I'm going to say one thing about Luca from this, right, I think some people have found genuine like comfort in like the Silencio Bruno.
Yeah. Yes.
People found really like that, because I've seen it all over TikTok as well, where it's just like it's sort of encouragement, I suppose.
Yeah, I've never had that. So I think I'm quite fortunate to not be in a situation where I need to shut out like thoughts. Because Silencio Bruno is something you'd say to shut out, like to suppress negative thoughts or feelings.
I suppose it's I get okay if we move away from like sort of negative stuff, like sort of like, but I'm saying it's bad to talk about it. You should always talk about it. But it's sort of like, so like before like an important game, I realize it kind of like segues into the next part, right? But if you're like before some important thing that you're going to do, you just sort of hype yourself up. You sort of, some people might shout, some people might just smack themselves.
Yeah, no. Cheeks, like, sometimes it's better to not to release.
Just shut things out.
Not necessarily like suppress things and keep it to yourself. Maybe you might find it better to release it all. Like maybe vent out at someone or on chat. Like you can make if a server you're in has a vent channel. I know a few servers I'm in has a vent channel for the purpose of people need to get out feelings. I think that helps. I've done it myself. Sometimes the act of typing it, I've typed out rants, but never wanted to post it because I was like, wait a minute, I can't say this. But the act of typing like gets it off my chest.
I think I've sent messages and decided, oh wait, no, let me delete that.
Yeah, I've typed out rants but before I send it, I'd say, oh wait, I'd realize that, no, I can't send this. But the act of typing it was enough to get it off my chest. So like, if it helps, maybe instead of trying to suppress it, maybe let it out. That's an option.
I don't know if this is how I was intending this conversation to go, because I just wanted to talk about the idea of combat.
Yeah.
But anyway, like sort of big important matches, there's been an important sports event going on. Actually,
quite a few actually. I do want to talk about sports because it's like current right now. Yeah.
I feel like you take the lead on this because I don't know.
You see, I am not really a sports expert. I only watch football when it's the World Cup or the Euros. I do not consider myself a football fan. But I watch football. Yeah. You haven't seen it at all.
I've not seen the Euros at all.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been following England and pretty much, yeah. I've seen a few other matches. But yeah, like football is like the current thing. I think everyone's talking about it right now, especially in Europe.
I feel like the Euros or like the World Cup, right? It's sort of, these are the sort of events, other than like maybe the Olympics, right? The sort of events which sort of somehow rally whole countries who otherwise wouldn't care about the events.
But even with the Olympics, like, I don't know if this might just be football fans, but with the Olympics, you don't really see the fans or cheer. It's not like a big cultural thing that you see on the news or every time.
I think maybe it's because of the variety of events, because everybody might watch their own.
Yeah. But with football, you see flags everywhere. People are flying the flags, and we're not America. Like America are very patriotic. You see a flag flying all the time. But in like Europe, if you see your country's flag flying, they're either a nationalist, which isn't always a good thing, or it's a football event and everyone's flying their flag. That's literally the only times you'll see flags flying.
I feel like we can only really safely talk for England because we're from England.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk for other countries and be wrong about them.
Yeah. But I do think like with the Olympics and international football events, it definitely brings you definitely have like a sense of nationalism and like people supporting their country. And this is like, I don't know if you have this in America, but I'll explain a little bit about the Euros. It's essentially like this football tournament. It's like the World Cup, but it's Europe only, and everyone gets really pumped up about it. Like the whole country supports their team, and it sometimes can get a bit intense. With like football Euros fans and stuff, like you definitely notice the fans more. You definitely see like flags everywhere and like people talking about it everywhere, like in schools.
I think this is also my first year on like Twitter during Olympics.
Yeah, all the hashtags will be like football related. Literally in England, I think everyone hates England simply because we've gotten to the final, and they haven't, so they're going to support Italy, who England will be facing.
I think notably, right? I think I got this from while I was listening to another podcast. I think notably, it's the first time we're in the final since 1966.
Yes.
For the Euro.
I think it's
the first time it's the first time we beat Germany in like 50 years apparently.
That is like a big thing. I think the England football team hasn't won a major football tournament since 1966, and the closest that's been was like 1996, where we lost the semi-final to Germany through penalty shootouts, and the guy who missed the penalty was Gareth Southgate, and Gareth Southgate is the present-day manager of the England football team, and if he wins,
come back.
If he can win this year, if he wins tomorrow is the final. If he wins, it's like full circle. He's redeemed himself in a way, because he cost us. We lost the semi-final like 20 years ago, but we have a chance. This is like the closest we've ever been to winning. Pardon?
25 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So this is the closest we've ever gotten to winning. I don't think we've been in the final, since 1966.
Yeah.
So it is like the country is hyped. When I mean, yes.
Also, I think one of the notable games that I've heard of was like the Scotland versus England game.
Yeah, that was pretty boring.
I mean, that was utter crap.
Yeah, it was. It was no goals. No goals scored. So
it was completely
0-0. No one scored at all.
How much overtime was there as well?
It was like 5 minutes overtime.
Oh, okay.
So like in the beginning bracket, so the Euros, works on. You've got like
Is it a knockout
groups?
Tournament?
There's groups at the beginning, like A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Can I take a guess?
Sure.
Is it like, are there like preliminary rounds where the person with the most wins?
I think points.
They all go against each other in these groups, right? And maybe the top team from each group goes into knockout.
Yes, basically. I think there's like, I don't know how many groups, but there are groups, and like the top one team will definitely go in, and sometimes the second place team can go through.
I'm assuming it's 8 groups.
Yeah. And then there's 16 teams who end up in the knockout. So there's the round of 16, and then there's the quarterfinal, and then the semi-final, and then the final. Maybe I've missed out a stage, but anyway, it's a knockout round, and England have managed to beat a few countries, can't remember, but they definitely beat Germany for the first time in
Denmark.
Many years. Ukraine, which they thrashed 4-0. Yeah. That was a great game. And then Denmark, which was actually close. Goal? Oh yeah, the 2-minute goal was Ukraine. They scored really quickly, and in the second half they scored really quickly again.
Is the Euros team, I don't know if you'd know this, but is it similar to the World Cup team? Like people like gassing over like Harry Kane or someone?
Yes, I think it's the same. Obviously you get people who might join and leave because maybe they're old, or sometimes there are new younger players who have like grown up and are good. So, but pretty much like the same footballers. I think
I'm not sure if I'm right about this. But even though in the World Cup in 2018, right? Even though they were knocked out, sort of like quarterfinal or something against Croatia, I feel like Harry Kane either get the Golden Boot or get close to it.
I don't remember, but he's definitely like the star player.
I think the Golden Boot was like most goals scored or something like that, right? I think like Harry Kane, even though they were knocked out, like either got to it, so like he's meant to be like a really good player.
I think he had a lot of high expectations, but he didn't really score that many goals at the beginning of the Euros this year. But like more recently, he's been scoring a lot of goals. But it's been pretty intense. Like the Denmark game, it was like, I think Denmark scored.
Was it like 3-2?
Yeah, Denmark scored first, then we scored, so it's 1-1. And then we went into extra time for half an hour, and that's when we...
Did they win off free kicks, was it?
Pardon?
Or penalties? Did they win off like a free kick or a penalty?
There were a few... Yes, it was a penalty. I think Sterling, an England player, so Sterling, he got touched, and... Obviously, England fans will say that he was pushed to the ground and deserved the penalty, but then pretty much the rest of Europe are like, he dived and he exaggerated, basically. He dived to the ground.
I heard some people talk about this the other day in like school, and they were talking about how it's sort of like a strategy for attack players to like try and get a foul.
Yes, it is a big part of it.
Actively try to get a free kick. So like, of course, I guess people who don't know football won't know about this stuff. I guess people who do know football are like, I see what happened there, and
like they're not genuinely injured, but when they get touched in a way.
But also, to somebody who doesn't play football, it seems scummy.
Yeah, it's common practice, to be honest. Like, as long as it's common practice and that everyone does it, in a way, it's fair, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. On paper, it's scummy, and especially if you don't really follow like football, it's pretending to be injured, basically, or diving to the ground when you've gotten touched. You might not get pushed. You might not. You're exaggerating, basically. It might be scummy, but the thing is, we've got cameras now, so you can still do it, but it's harder to fake. Like, maybe back in the day without cameras, people would be faking, like, left, right, and center.
I remember for the World Cup, right? I don't know. I think VAR was like a really new thing around then. So everybody's VAR. And like really obsessed with like getting VAR, like getting people to look at the footage.
Yeah. I think that's I've heard some of that video refereeing is actually common
video assisted referee.
Yeah, it's common in America, in like American football games, I think, or something like that. But it's quite relatively new for like normal football, proper football. So it is quite new. So like some people haven't gotten used to it. But I think people are getting used to it now, like technology.
I guess before we talk about any other sports, do you have, as the person who's watching, do you have predictions for like
scores? Italy.
Maybe not the winner, but like how you think the scores might.
Italy is I don't know actually. I think they're a good team. There are obviously going to be some like actual football fans who might think differently because they know football better, but I think Italy are a good team, so I think it's going to be a tough final. I hope that England will win. I'm going to say maybe like 2-1 or 3-2.
Okay.
I think.
So you think it's going to be like whatever the score is, the winning team's going to be 1-up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. I guess
I'm not a football guy, so I might be wrong, but
is that all to do with the Euros, I suppose?
That's pretty much it. Like, I won't consider ourselves sports fans. I mean, I'm a Formula 1 fan. If you count that as a sport, which I definitely do.
That's motorsports. Yeah, I'd count that as sports because I'd say at this point, even if somebody like vigorously follows esports. Esports. I don't know.
This reminds me of a conversation we had about what do you define a sport as? Is esports a sport? When you sit in a chair and play video games,
I think when you're that dedicated to something, even if the athlete doesn't come to mind, it's still your job, I guess, to play in tournaments. If that's how you're making your living, you might as well be called an athlete or something similar to that, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, the other big sports event happening that I did not know was happening till I heard people from our school were going to help as ball boys.
Wimbledon. Wimbledon tennis.
Is that what it's called? Wimbledon tennis?
I don't know the proper name, but I think people just call it Wimbledon because it's set in Wimbledon, like a town in London. But yeah, like I don't really follow tennis, but I did watch one match, and it happened to be this young British woman. She's like 18, and I was like, wait a minute, this is an interesting match. The people on the TV were like really hyping her up as like the future of British tennis, like young and rising star.
Oh my God, it's somebody like a year older than me.
Yeah, literally year 13. She just did her A-levels. Like they were really hyping her up as like this rising star, like she's going to come in and beat like existing top players, which she did. So she did beat number 47, like the top 47th person. So like the top 100 of tennis players, pretty good people. So she beat that person. Her name is Emma Raducanu, by the way, this prodigy. So the match was intense, and I only understood what was going on because of Wii Sports. Like, I've never played tennis apart from Wii Sports, so at least I knew how the scoring worked. Because it's a bit weird. I'm not really a tennis fan, but I did understand what was going on, and like I could understand the intensity of the match, and like, yeah, it was pretty fun to watch.
I guess something interesting to do with our school and Wimbledon tennis is people, like, there are these people in the tennis matches called ball boys or ball girls who basically give balls and collect the balls that are used in the match. And our school is sort of part of the program for that. I think. And I think
it's pretty cool though. Like, you see these tennis players.
I think one of the people, I'll send the name in chat so you know who I'm talking about.
Should we give them a fictional name?
Bird.
Bird. Okay.
Bird. So I think this is who it's to do with, right?
Yeah.
This person basically, I think why it's notable was because people said like the commentators focused on him when he was collecting this one ball.
Okay.
Apparently, like, I don't know what it was because it's been a while, but he either like kicked off the wall or did like some sort of cool maneuver to catch a ball, right?
Like, insane catching skills.
Yeah. And the commentators were like, "Yo, did you just see that?" I of course I didn't watch it. I only heard it from other people talking about like, "Yo, dude, whoa."
I mean, it's gonna be cool though. Like, first of all, you see famous tennis players. Second of all, if you do something cool like that, you get mentioned on live TV, because Wimbledon is streamed on like BBC One or something, like the top channel.
I think the other thing is you also got to realize, like, the people the people who are ball boys and ball girls are very also fit themselves to be running around so much and like be reacting like that. So you have to respect them for like being on the court doing
also,
that job.
I commend them for putting themselves at risk, because these tennis players serve the ball at like 100 miles an hour, and if that ball flies in a certain trajectory, like, towards the in between your legs, I think that's bound to have happened at some point, and I'm sure that's
at least this is an anime where I'll leave a crater in the wall.
Yeah, at least it's not that. But yeah,
I guess we get onto what your favorite sports now.
It also links. I'll quickly mention that Emma Raducanu did get knocked out because she was like sick. I think she wasn't feeling well for some reason. Like, some people,
I guess we can theorize maybe it was like pressure or something.
Some people actually got it's Twitter obviously, but they got criticized for saying it was pressure and like emotions and stuff, and when the same like sports commentator, when a man got sick, explained that it was like a physical injury. So like physical versus emotional, and this happened to be a girl that they were talking about. So there's like, but like whatever it was, physical or an emotional thing, like, it is kind of sad. But like, she is a really good player that like she's one to watch out for in the future. Yeah, she's still really young. Like,
I don't know if I'll mention this and we'll see if it gets in, right? But I'm reading this new manga right now called Blue Box.
Yeah.
And it's a romance manga. The sports is sort of the sports is the means to the end of the story, right?
Yeah.
It's the way the story is being conveyed. There's this guy who's like does badminton in high school, and he's sort of going to he wants to go to tournaments, and it's because he's been inspired by his upperclassman who's on the basketball team, who he also happens to have a crush on.
Yeah.
And so when I'm reading or like going through this manga and seeing this guy work so hard, I'm just sort of like, this is literally a moment where I'm like, he's going to do this, and I'm going to sit here and see him do it. And I'm like, I'm doing nothing. And this guy, or like even like the real life examples of people like I don't know, like Tommy on YouTube or this Emma person on tennis, right?
Yeah.
They like work so hard and they get as far as they can. And I feel like, I guess it's sort of feelings of like, should I be doing more? Then I realize it doesn't really matter, really.
Yeah, these people are insanely talented. Like, they're really special people, but that does not mean like normal people aren't special, you know, like you can't compare yourself to the top one person, you know, like
basically I think I was talking about like friendships the other day, and one of my friends who I don't disagree with him, but he was like, if it makes you feel better, think about how I don't connect with my friends as much. I was like, dude, that's not how this works. That's not how this works.
Yeah. Anyway, like speaking about pressure, well, I'm not gonna say that Emma was suffering like pressure. Maybe it's probably a genuine like physical injury, but you know, slightly unrelated, but related. I don't know. Anyway, to do with pressure, I'm gonna bring on F1. It's like the only sport I really follow. It's next week. There's gonna be a race in the UK, which is cool. I wish I had tickets, but I don't. I will get tickets at some point. They're so expensive. They're like
you have your whole life as long as F1 doesn't die.
I hope it doesn't, but yeah, it's so expensive. But yeah, I think my dream is to get tickets and like
sport any sort of live event tickets costs a lot.
I think like the cheapest F1 tickets you can get are like £100 at least.
Holy.
It's really expensive. And I did see this like charity sort of giveaway thing. If you donated £10 to Duke of Edinburgh, like the charity that helps young people, you can win like 2 VIP tickets. You meet the drivers and you see the behind the scenes of F1. Basically, you can see like the garages and the cars.
Restriction or anything?
No. Well, yes, but I can do it. I'll get my dad to do it. Maybe, I don't know. The problem isn't the age; it's the money. It's £10. Like, yes, I did spend £1 to win a toaster, but that was just £1. £10 is like 10 times. It was the I think I talked about this before. The Lando Norris toaster. But yeah, speaking about pressure, anyway, Lando Norris is like another young British driver. He's like 21.
Holy whoa!
Yeah, and he's doing really, really great. Like, he is like insanely good. His car is like the 3rd best car or 4th best car, but he's getting like top 3 finishes. And bear in mind, each team has like 2 people. So theoretically, if there are 2 better teams, there should be 4 people like higher up than him. But in the 3rd best team, this guy is like top 3, top 4. So he's beating some people in those top teams. But basically, he's got a teammate who's like 10 years older than him and like a race winner. He's won many races before and he was like really good, but he's suffering the pressure right now. And I think there's a pressure thing, like a mental mindset that is contributing to his lack of performance. Like, I feel like if you've got a younger teammate who in the same car is doing much better than you, that must not. I think that's quite negative for your state of mind. And like,
okay, this is a weird way to link to this, right?
Yeah.
I think this is. I need to catch up with this season, right?
Okay.
But like the second latest Beyblade season, there's something similar I saw where like the young kids who are like 15 or whatever are doing really good, and like they're like being prodigies in Beyblade.
Yeah.
Because of course in the Beyblade world it's a sport. So like the original characters from like, the first season who are like their mentors and their rivals at the same time are like, holy whoa, how are we gonna like compete with this? I guess that's sort of what's going on here. So like he's sort of seeing his younger teammate do really well, and he's sort of like maybe being negatively affected by that. Maybe?
Yeah, I think like I'm not saying this happened to Emma, but I think it might be happening to this guy called Danny Ricciardo, he's like an F1 driver who he's had a pretty good past, but the fact that he's not winning anymore or not doing as well anymore, like there must be a negative feedback loop where first you do bad, and then you think you do bad, and then you do worse.
That's a positive feedback loop. Actually.
Positive, yeah, but in a negative way, right? Like you do bad, and then it doesn't help you mentally. Like you need to be in a positive mental state to do well, right? So if you're in a not so good mental state, or like negative what do you call it, like it's not a negative attitude. I think he's trying his best, but like
it's just
if you're like Lando Norris, he's surfing on a wave of positivity. Like he's motivated. He's like every good result like promotes him to get more good results. But it's the opposite with Danny Rick, right? So he's suffering the pressure, but I hope he sorts it out, because he's a really good driver, and like I think I've said this before, but McLaren is my favorite team, and it would be great to get two drivers like performing well, because it's good for the team basically. And going back to tickets, at some point I'll get tickets because I do want to see F1, and even better, if I get a career in F1, that'd be like insane, because you travel the world. Yeah, I mean it must be quite hard, but like
you could like I don't know, like some form of job, right?
Because like with engineers, right, you might end up in an office, to be honest, but if you're really lucky to work in F1, you can travel the world basically, and you know, to go to see every race. But that'd be pretty cool. But I think that's all we have time for sports. Like,
I did want to mention one more thing.
Sure.
Just randomly. Talk about tickets and sports events.
Okay, yeah.
I've been talking to you about this, and there's like one for our friend Zach who I might want to go with. There's this charity football event called Clash of Greats happening that I do want to go to, and what was it? It's basically like it's a charity event where a bunch of rather relatively big name UK YouTubers are like on teams, and it's just a charity football.
It's just like
event,
friendly football. It's nothing like the stakes aren't as high as like the Euros. You don't have a whole country like you know, pressuring you to do well.
When you look at the names, it is quite a big event.
Yeah.
In terms of the names, because I think I am Alex, Max Fosh, in the Minecraft community, CPK.
Yeah.
Pretty much the only person I know, but I'd go anyway because it seems like a good fun day out. But it's like there are some big name like YouTubers going, and I think that's sort of an event I'd like to go to as well. Because I'm definitely going to try to go. But sports.
Right. That's the end of sports. We shall move on. Do you want the question of the week or the song of the week or autocomplete? I'll let you choose the segment.
God, I don't know. You know what? Let's talk about the song. Because I don't know how much auto. I think you can probably talk about it.
Right. So the song today is Good For You by Olivia Rodrigo. Have you heard it?
No, Seth. You hang on. You've done something wrong here.
Wait, what have I done?
Look at the document, right?
Yeah.
There you
go. I wait a minute. I don't actually have the document up. I have a screenshot of the document. Let me get the document.
I changed the 4.
Oh, you put it to a number. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've heard it, right?
Oh yeah, I've heard it.
If you haven't heard it, it goes along. It sounds like this. Good for you. Da, da, da. I don't know the words. This is a problem with me. I don't know the words to lyrics, and my sister likes to make fun of me for not knowing any lyrics at all, because
I make fun of you for not knowing characters.
Yeah, I just don't remember lyrics for some reason, but it goes like this. Good for you, something like that. I like it. It's catchy.
Let's see. Oh, good for you. You look happy and healthy, not me. I can't sing it, but the famous line is like a dog sociopath.
I've lost my mind. I've spent the night crying on the floor of my bathroom. I only know that pretty much.
I just told you like a damn sociopath.
Yeah,
because that's like the line.
It's like an Insanity song. Like, have you seen the music video?
No.
I think she goes like a bit insane because I think it's about a breakup or something.
Yeah.
And like it's a bit of like a good for you, you know, in a sarcastic way almost. Yeah. And it's like I think the lyrics are a bit like all about going insane a bit, like crying in your bathroom. That sort of thing, like an emotion. It's quite an emotional song, but like
there's a reason you put it here. Is there like any specifics?
Oh my god. No, I don't know. I just put it there because it was the only song that really stood out for me, like Olivia Rodrigo song. Do you have any other
songs? I guess I can talk
Olivia Rodrigo specifically, I mean.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know any other songs.
Oh, I think Driver's License is the big one. And then
the only other.
I think Good For You is a TikTok sound. I think.
That's what I'm talking about, like a damn sociopath.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice song. Like for me, I tend to like sort of if I don't listen to lyrics, I usually just listen to like the sound of the song, the tune,
the soundtrack.
It's it's really catchy, I guess.
It's also like not very. Her songs aren't really like conventional pop. They're more like, I guess it's what Gen Z are listening to these days. But Good For You especially is got like guitars and drums and stuff. It's very little electronic pop, you know, sounds that you tend to get these days. It's like it goes back in time in a sense to like the 90s almost, or something like that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of the 90s, my sister got an Olivia Rodrigo cassette and CD, and I think we broke the cassette because we didn't know how to use it.
You just put it in and press play.
Either that, I think, you see, she was trying to like switch songs like you would with digital like Spotify, but obviously when you like switch songs, you have to wait for the tape to like spin, and like she kept spamming the button, and I think it like tangled up.
I have not used a cassette since
Gen Z problems here. I'm sure like old people know how to use it.
I think I never really thought of this because when I used the cassette, I was like 6 years old.
Yeah.
You know, I was like really young, so I never really thought about the logistics of using a cassette compared to like a DVD.
Do you know what I want to buy though? I want to buy a Walkman. Maybe I could become like Star-Lord and like have a bulky like. Oh, you don't know you don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, geez, this is again another example of Generation Z.
Okay, look, this happened the other day with my friend on Twitter where they were talking about Yellow Pages. I didn't know it by that name.
Yellow Page, is that the phone number thing? Yeah. But anyway,
I just don't know things by names. I know what you're talking about though. Like
the thing that Star-Lord has, yeah. Like you put it on your hip and you sort of wear headphones and you like, you know, put in your cassette and you sort of like, maybe if you have that and you like go out to London or go out on a day out, and most people would be listening on their very fancy iPhones and AirPods, and you're the one guy with the good old cassette, and as long as you don't break it and you know what you're doing, it can't be me because I'm too young. I'm a youngin'.
I think I remember like a teacher making a joke because we're not allowed our phones. So she was like, people just sort of sometimes bring in cassette player, like CD players, and just listen to them with headphones.
I've never actually seen a cassette player. I mean the cassette we had an old radio that, you know, accepts cassette and CD.
I mean I've
not
remember,
seen like a cassette
player. It's like it was just this box.
Mm.
You put the cassette in. And you see it's connected to the TV.
All right, yeah. I think I've had that. Maybe when I don't really remember it, but I do remember having a box TV. So it was, you know, a box, and I remember having like cassettes basically. They're bigger. The movie cassette ones are bigger than the music ones. They're like black, right? I don't know. Yeah. They're bigger basically, but they work on the same theory that you spin like a tape.
Yeah, I recently found a old Finding Nemo cassette, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
so.
like, I think that wraps it up. Good For You is a great song. Olivia Rodrigo's songs are pretty nice. Yeah, I think that's it. Shall we move on?
Yeah, that's sort of been this. Yeah.
Question of the day was...
Which I mentioned at the start, I thought was an interesting question.
How has the stuff you've seen as a child influenced your personality?
This is a deep question, so what the
hell? It was asked by a member of our audience as well. So do you have do you have an immediate answer?
Yes. I'm not sure. I guess in terms, I don't know if this is I guess it's influenced by taste, but I don't know about personality. Do you have an answer?
I don't know. I think maybe I've been influenced, but subconsciously, and I don't actually know what to point out. But I'll tell you one thing. I've got a story. I think my dad, he stopped paying for Nickelodeon because of me watching SpongeBob, and he thought SpongeBob was a bad influence.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I think for a period of time, he stopped paying for Nickelodeon on the TV like package thing, because SpongeBob, with hindsight, he's a funny guy, right? But he's not like the most responsible of people. You shouldn't look up to SpongeBob, okay?
I guess for me, maybe it's just inherently I'm a nice person, but maybe like watching specific things also made me a nice person. I'm not sure. I think Stampy seems like a pretty nice guy.
Yeah, I mean with SpongeBob, right? I don't know. I've definitely not been influenced in the sense that I am a living SpongeBob. I'm not like SpongeBob, but I think either my dad thought SpongeBob was a bad influence and that I'd be negatively affected by watching too much SpongeBob, or he got really annoyed by the SpongeBob laughing, like he couldn't stand it anymore, and he stopped paying for it, and his excuse was that it was a bad influence. But maybe it's the latter. Maybe he just found the laughing really annoying.
Right now.
Pardon? He's doing stuff. I'm
kidding. I was gonna say, for me, I don't know if it's influence unless you count my interest as part of my personality. I don't know. But I guess the personality I seem to be given a lot of the time is the nice person.
The nice person, yeah. Did you watch My Little Pony, right?
Oh yeah.
There's lots of nice people there. Maybe you were influenced by Fluttershy's kindness. Or like the friendship is magic.
So at the start of the series, literally every episode was a friendship lesson.
Yeah.
That was the point of the show.
And the tagline is friendship is magic.
No, not even that. At the end of the episode, a character would
write
in the friendship diary.
Yeah.
Like in the early episodes, so like it would always be like a lesson of friendship.
Yeah, I remember that now. I didn't really watch My Little Pony, but I watched a bit because my sister watched it. So
I was.
Yeah.
But I think it's sort of like I maybe we can like think about it and mention it again, because next week's it might relate to sort of next week's podcast a bit. Next episode.
Okay. Yes. I think that's all we have time for today's episode. Yeah. I think we were hoping to mention Loki, but yet again, no time for Loki. But just quick thoughts. I want
to mention libraries.
Oh, libraries. Okay, libraries and Loki we'll talk about next episode. But if you want our quick reviews of Loki so far, I give it
as well by next.
Yeah, so by next episode we should have the whole series to talk about. But just as a running review, you can check my Twitter. But if you can't be asked, I give it. It's the best Marvel show so far. Do you have anything quick to say about Loki?
Some people are weirded out by Sylvie X Loki, and I'm like, it's wholesome. I like.
Yeah. Okay.
So Mobius.
Anyway, thanks for listening, and we will. Don't forget to subscribe, follow.
Subscribe. Follow Seth's Twitter. we upload every 2 weeks, so come back in 2 weeks.
2 weeks for the last episode. And yeah, because it's the last episode, I highly recommend that if you've joined us recently, that you go back and watch all the older episodes as well, because this series is great. Yeah, watch all of them. Yeah.
Yes, I know.
Anyway, we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.